So in this tutorial, we're going to talk about drawing curls using just a mechanical pencil. If you have other pencils, like a variety of pencils like the HB, B2H, 3H, 6B, all that good stuff, you most definitely should use those to do this tutorial and use the appropriate pencils for the appropriate shading. But what we're going to do now, since some of you guys don't have those, is just work with a mechanical pencil. So what I've done so far is I've drawn two parallel lines. Those are my guidelines for the outer edge of my curl. And the way that curls generally work is something like this. You have zigzag lines, right? So two lines going from the left down to the right, and then two lines that connect to those lines that go down from the right to the left. Curls are a little more dynamic than this though. So we want to do sort of the same thing, but create curved lines instead of just straight lines like this. The other thing that happens with curls is that they generally get a little bit tighter towards the bottom. So instead of drawing two parallel lines, we're going to draw two lines that sort of slope and come together at the bottom. So now instead of drawing our diagonal lines straight, we're going to go ahead and make them a little bit curved at the top and then curved in the other direction at the bottom. And then you just want to mimic the same thing directly under that line that you just drew. So now we want to round out the ends of those two lines. And then we're just going to do the same thing. We're not going to draw the lines going from the right down to the left just yet. So just keep drawing the same shape, sort of a diagonal S shape, all the way down that guideline situation that you have. And then when you get to the end, you can just put like a little tail, and that can go in any direction that you want it to. So now let's connect these together. And we want to follow that curve and draw it so that it's going to connect to the corner, which isn't really a corner, of the opposite end. So you can see that I'm lightly drawing in just to make sure that they will meet up and that it looks accurate, but those lines are going to disappear when I do my shading. Okay, so again, you want to make sure that these are curved lines as well. They shouldn't be super straight the whole way through. So this is what the shape of a tight curl would look like. If you were going to do a looser curl, it would sort of be the same. So you're going to draw your two outer edge guidelines, and then you might even want to curve it a little bit going in any which direction. So curls can be kind of crazy, and the way that you draw them is totally up to the shape of the head that the person has and all that good stuff. So same sort of thing, you're drawing like a really sloped S shape, except this one is sloped at a much more drastic angle than the other one. And then you're going to do your S shapes like farther apart from each other for a more loose curl. So your loose curl is going to end up looking something like this. So now let's go back and talk about shading on the tighter curl that we have here. So we want to decide where our highlight is going to be on this curl, and it's always going to be the parts that are closest to you. And so I'm just going to go through with my mechanical pencil and lightly shade in where the darker areas are going to be so that I know when I get there what I need to make dark. The pieces that fall in the back of this curl are going to be darker than all the other ones. So just keep that in mind. So don't go too dark on the pieces that are closest. So I'm also using my finger to get a little bit of a gray in there. You can use a tissue. If you have a blending stick, you can do that. And I'm doing contour hatching, just like I did with the braid. So, and not all of your contour hatching has to be perfect, right? So this is hair, so it's not going to be super geometrical and super accurate, right? So it's going to go a little crazy in some places. So all of your lines don't have to be at the same angle as the shape of your curl. And you want to make sure that the outer edges are darker than the inside, where the highlight is going to be. And let's just go down and do all these front pieces first. And when we get to the back pieces, these should be, like I said, a little bit darker than the ones that are closer to you. So if you went really dark on your top layer, try and go even darker with these ones. Okay, so slowing this down a little bit more, one of the things that makes hair so interesting is the fact that it's not perfect, right? So you can go through and add in kind of stragglers. So those should come out of the ends of the curl that you were drawing and then kind of go within the same pattern, but they should be a little bit off just to make them look a little more natural. And this mechanical pencil is really smudgy, so I'm having to go back in and erase just to clean it up a little bit. And then of course for the end of your curl, you can add some stray hairs as well, just to make it look a little more natural. And then you are pretty much done with your curl.